Big D Entertainment, in association with Dipsy Doodle Productions, presents The Dave Holly Hour. Brought to you by TJS Ceramics, Posh Boutique in the Bridges at 57th, The Sky in T, XL Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Jesse Moffitt Entertainment, and Sonny's Pizzeria. The Dave Holly Hour features Sioux Empire arts and entertainment conversations. A true lover of arts, entertainment, good food, and fun times, including an occasional Jack Daniels. Okay, so a few Jack Daniels. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Zach Dresch, thank you for the great introduction that you nail each week. By the way, in a few weeks, I'll be announcing something fun that Zach has asked me to be a part of. Meanwhile, welcome Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment lovers. This week's show features the premier Playhouse Managing Artistic Director Oliver Mays. Their production of Cinderella starts tonight. He also gives us a look ahead to their 21st season. Then local comedian Reid Baxter just recently got back into the comedy groove. He's also looking forward to being a father. Plus, we'll tell you who or what gets this week's honorable mention, as well as choose another winner of Pizza with a Podcaster. But first, let's pop the cork on this bubbly little show.
Time to grab your favorite beverage, lift it high, and toast it to being Thursday, a.k.a. Weekend Eve.
Hey, the weekend isn't around the corner, it's here!
So long, hump day and your frumpy way. We say hello to Thursdays with opening nights. The weekend is near and we can see the bright lights. Yes, Thursday, you're so hearty, we can't wait for Friday, so a day early, we start the party.
Make sure you lift the glass or whatever you're drinking out of high and toast to everyone involved in last Friday's Last Comic Standing competition. Absolutely great turnout and fundraiser for the Junior League of Sioux Falls. Fun celebrity judges, great comics. Congratulations, Nathan Holtz, winner of the $500 prize. Also congrats as well to Jerry Irby and Skylar Volks for second and third places, and to all of the other comics for taking their time to participate. And Sioux Falls and surrounding area, Sioux Empire, you outdid yourself once again. Wow, what a big crowd. What a great responsive crowd. So a toast to everyone in the audience, and can't wait to do it again next year. The Weekend Eve Toast is brought to you by The Sky in Tea. The Sky provides all-caps fun, and that is best had with friends. Hey, have fun playing darts, shooting pool, listening to great live music from local musicians, singing at karaoke, testing your knowledge at trivia. You know what? Maybe that fun includes a whole bunch of people and you need more room. Might be a company party, might be a benefit you're holding. The Sky's big back room fits that bill. No matter what's going on at the Sky, it's local and it's lively. It's time to choose a lucky winner of Pizza with a Podcaster. Everyone that follows the Dave Holly Hour on Facebook or Instagram is automatically entered to win a free pizza from Sonny's Pizzeria. We pick a winner each week. This week we say congratulations to Becky Knipe. We'll be in touch with you, Becky. Get you all set up for some jowl-dropping, show-stopping thin crust pizza. Pizza with a Podcaster is brought to you by Sonny's Pizzeria, right across from USF at 26th and Waltz, and Sonny's at 81 on South Phillips. Check out the very fun and incredibly flavorful menu online, sonnyspizzeria.com. Honorable mention. Oh, what made Dave smile this week? I'm not going to go through the other stuff because it was a very serious subject. To the cast and crew of monstrous Little Theater's production of Independence. It had humor thrown in there too, but a special shout out to a great woman I've been admiring for many years, Sarah Crosby. Your portrayal of the mother was worthy of each bit of applause and platitudes you received. Bravo, bravo to all. And another little side note, I like to talk about, things being beautiful. and seeing people doing something that really is their passion. Now, Debbie Jones, who started Monstrous Little Theater, didn't direct this. She wasn't in it, but obviously still had a big hand in everything going on. And as I was watching the play, I looked over and saw her and the smile that she had on her face as everybody that she's brought together for that production was just amazing. If others were looking, they could tell it was lighting up the room as well. All right. Later in the show, comedian Reid Baxter. But up next, from the Premier Playhouse, managing artistic director Oliver Mays on the Dave Holly Hour.
Check out the new ceramic studio in Sioux Falls, conveniently located off Kiwanis Avenue on 5th Street. TJS Ceramics. We have thousands of classic vintage ceramic mold items and several new items too. TJS Ceramics offers classes through the Sioux Falls Community Education Program and special open studio nights every Thursday evening. Bisque, studio time, or finished custom items are available. Visit TJS Ceramics Studio in Sioux Falls today.
Helping women feel empowered and confident is what Posh Boutique at the Bridges at 57th does, while supplying high-quality clothing that fits your lifestyle, personality, and price point. Whether you want comfy and cozy, casual attire, or something for a special occasion, Posh provides quality, selection, and value. They carry sizes extra small to 3X and have something appropriate for any age. Feel empowered and get confident. Posh Boutique at the Bridges at 57th.
Dr. Perry Langston and Dr. Corey Tooney know excellence is in you. That's why they provide you with excellent care at XO Chiropractic, improving your overall health in spirit, body, mind, and will. Get results the natural way. Arrange a consultation, 605-332-9235 or xochiros.com. Excellent care for excellent people. XO Chiropractic, located at 4309 South Racket Drive in Sioux Falls.
Arts and entertainment lovers, you hit the mark. It's the Dave Holly Hour.
Welcome back, everyone. Sure. I'm an open book when it comes to the opening of a conversation, aren't I? It is always a pleasure to talk about Sioux Empire arts and entertainment. And it's always a pleasure to have Oliver Mays from the Premier Playhouse on the show. Welcome back to the show, Oliver.
Thank you, Dave.
It is so great to have you here in the Dipsy Doodle Productions studio to talk about something that starts tonight here on Thursday night, Cinderella.
Yes. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. Your studio is the cutest thing ever. Just have to say
well,
that.
Thank you.
But yeah, we are opening Cinderella at the Premier Playhouse at the Orpheum Theater this Thursday, April 20th. And it runs through the 30th of April, and it's going to be a pretty stellar production. Our tech and dress rehearsal processes have gone really well, so audiences are in for a treat.
Excellent. And I know that before we started this conversation, you said because of tech and dress going so well that you're at least a little less stressed.
Yeah, I think we're all a little bit less stressed, which is really nice during a process that can inevitably be stressful. It's just felt very rewarding in that way. The staff and team and actors as well have really worked together to be prepared and plan ahead, and I think we're all reaping the benefits of that now.
So when we think of the traditional Cinderella, how is the Premier Playhouse production of it going to be similar, yet different, and put the TPP stamp on it?
That's such a great question, Dave. I would say what's going to feel familiar and very similar to the traditional Cinderella presentation is the vocals. A lot of the singing is, number one, gorgeous, but number two, pretty accurate to what you would be expecting for a traditional Rodgers and Hammerstein musical or Cinderella fairy tale, right? So beautiful legato singing. The principal singers just have outrageous voices. I think that audiences will be floored. And then the ensemble sound is pretty incredible because our music director is a choir teacher, so he's very particular about cutoffs and tone and everything, which is amazing.
How you
so
sing a vowel versus a consonant. Yeah.
So everything's very specific in that way, and so that's so satisfying when you're listening to the singing. And then how it will be different is it is like kind of loosely, it's a fairy tale. And so things are magical, but it's loosely set in the early 70s. So it's going to be a little bit more groovy than you're used to.
Okay.
So the aesthetic of the production, both color palette and silhouette and patterns, etc., those will be more inspired by the early 70s.
This will be Austin Powers approved?
Yes, exactly. Austin Powers approved. But yeah, and then it's, of course, blended with the etherealness and like the forest aspect, like the nature aspect that is a necessary component of the fairy tale. So I think the audience gets everything that they really need to like be connected to the piece and resonate with it. But then we just wanted to give it an interesting spin because Alex, the director, specifically thinks that a lot of the text and the themes in this version of Cinderella really particularly relate to that time. And I think she's kind of right. And this is Rodgers and Hammerstein, but it's the most currently revised version. So it's the version that they did on Broadway in 2013. And the book is a little heftier. So there's like some really good scene work. I mean, the songs are stellar, obviously, but there's just a lot more meat to the piece. And because of that, she wanted to add even more depth by like kind of adding that setting and seeing what that does to the tension of the piece.
Well, I always love it when there's a traditional type show, a very familiar name that we go to, and then we see the play, the musical, in a completely different light. And I have the feeling that the way you've been speaking about it so far, that's what we're in for then.
Exactly. I mean, I think we don't want to stray too far from it so that people are like, what's going on, because Cinderella is a piece that people love, right? But we're also like, people have seen so many iterations of Cinderella that still feel very similar. They're all kind of laid out relatively the same. So we're interested in like interrogating that idea and playing with it.
And I have the feeling that we're going to see some sets that'll be just incredible.
I mean, yeah, the team is like Jill Clark, our scenic designer, has a beautiful mind. And then what Pierce is able to do with building the set and working with the team to make it happen, it's just incredible. So yeah, I mean, a lot of we do everything economically, I would say, though. We're really smart about the way we design and build because we don't want it to be too heavy or unsafe. We don't want it to be, we don't want it to eat up too much money because we don't have all the money in the world. So the team is really good at getting creative, and that's my biggest goal as the producer for them is like, okay, how do we do this in a smart fashion? That is cost effective, but also gives the audience what they deserve. So you're going to get every sense of grandeur, but just in a way that you're probably not expecting.
One of the things people probably don't understand about TPP at the Orpheum then is the fact that those sets get moved in from a warehouse.
Exactly. Yeah. We actually rent the theater when we're performing in it. So we don't get to just like build on the stage and rehearse on the stage. We're rehearsing in various spaces, whether that be in the Orpheum at the Zabel or in our offices. But we also have offsite warehouses where one of which we rehearse in and one of which the set is getting built in. So yeah, Dave is right. We build the set offsite and it has to be built in a way that is predominantly constructed, but not completely, so that it can be moved in a truck to the Orpheum and then unloaded by a team and assembled there and rigged on the fly system. There's a lot that goes into it. So particularly Pierce, our technical director, and Alex, our production manager. But for this production, because Alex is the director. Pierce is also actually the production manager. And I assist as needed. So it's just teamwork makes the dream work, right? But we do have a structure to it. And Alex and Pierce, in that structure, really lead the charge, and so they make a lot of it happen, but there are so many people that come in and help us with the various pieces, so it's just a lot of hours, but then when the show opens, it's super rewarding. But I think audiences don't realize that it's not like, oh yeah, we got to casually do this for months. It's like, no, we had to figure out how to do this off-site, and then exactly.
All right. Well, I can't wait. We've got our tickets, of course, because we're season ticket holders.
Yes.
In fact, we were talking about that this morning. That we've got we named off the all the season ticket places we have. And we go, oh, we just got TPP left, so we got to get those in the books. And that will lead us to another conversation here in just a few minutes. But first of all, before we move on to talk about what you have left in this season, how many people are employed now at TPP?
Well, that's a really interesting question. So we have 4 full-time staff, including myself, and 2 very full-time part-time staff is what I call them, because everyone in the organization is really giving of their time because it's still a volunteer minded organization. So 6 what I call permanent staff members. They're part of the operational staff. And then we employ a number of contractors for the productions. All of our designers, our technicians, what I call our executors, and then like management leads as well. And so because of that, like, I don't know, I'd have to give you a number at the end of the season to see where we landed at, but it's somewhere between 15 and 20 folks at the end of the season. Each show requires a different amount of people, and that's kind of why we do it on the project by project basis for that. But the core staff, they help make everything happen.
All right, so we've got Cinderella that starts tonight and is going to run 2 weekends, correct?
Correct.
All right, and then how quick of a turnaround before Grease is the Word?
Grease runs June 15th to 25th at the Orpheum Theater, and we just started rehearsals for that. This is what's crazy about the end of our season is there's an actual overlap for 2 huge main stage productions. So we're trying to juggle that, but we started early enough where we get to kind of work with some of the cast and crew that aren't involved in Cinderella while Cinderella is happening simultaneously, and then we get to focus just on Grease. So it'll be kind of a nice like soft launch, and then we'll get going on the work. But we've got an incredible cast. We've got an incredible team. Victor Schonk, who designed our A Christmas Carol set, is designing our Grease set. So it's going to be pretty phenomenal.
Well, I do have a little bit of background for your warehouse, at least, where all the stage is made and so forth. And when I was in there recently, did I see something that could possibly be greased lightning?
Yeah, that is correct, Dave.
Okay.
We've had the car. We've had Grease Lightning for a while. That's a secret, but I'm going to let it out. We've had it for a while. Through various partnerships, we have been able to retrieve a car from SDSU and then get it kind of fixed up and repainted and zhuzhed up by... Oh gosh, Lake Area Technical College.
Okay.
I almost said South Lake Area, so that's not correct. I'm still new to the area. But yeah, so through this beautiful partnership with the 2 institutions, we were able to retrieve the car and get it remodeled for the production.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. No doubt about that.
Yeah.
Well, Grease is such a fun thing anyway. And, okay, so you've gone Cinderella to Grease to end the season. And then you've now just released what you're going to have coming up for the 21st season.
That is correct.
All right. Go through it for us and tell us what we need to expect out of everything.
Yes, I will tell you about what Casey Kustak refers to as the season that can get you drunk on live performances or can legally get you drunk on live performances. I saw that on Facebook and that made me laugh. We've got an incredible season coming up. We thought this season was great. And then the minute we announced this, we got feedback like, wow, how did you elevate that?
Right.
And you did elevate it. And we did that by starting our season with The Little Mermaid and then continuing into our annual production of A Christmas Carol, then our annual production of the premieres. We've also introduced a new piece of expanded programming called the Passion Projects. And within that program, we will be doing The Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams. Then we'll move to Oklahoma, Rogers and Hammerstein, again in April, which is kind of a cool. I'm not going to identify it as a tradition. We have enough traditions, but cool that we're returning to Rogers and Hammerstein. And then we're closing out the season with Hair, the American Love rock tribal musical. I said that wrong, but Hair.
Now, so you've been hitting some of the biggies, and like you said, somebody said, how did you elevate it? Does that become a more difficult task each year that you're in this position?
Oh, totally. It totally does. I actually was kind of talking to somebody about this recently, where they were like, wow, we're doing like really big titles, but they're like the really good ones.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and I don't remember. They just said something around that. And I was like, you're right. And I don't know. I think we've like landed on the big ones. So then we might have to restart and like try a new niche, or you know what I mean? I don't know where we're going yet. It was cool to figure out this one, but we'll have to start doing some interesting things to like keep elevating it.
Well, in the meantime, before we get to season 21, then there's no real stoppage at the Premier Playhouse because your summer is filled with camps and different programming and so forth. Give us an idea of what is available to everyone during the summertime then.
Thank you, Dave. Yeah, that is true because our main stage programming is through what I call the academic year, and then the summer is where we really debut all of our education stuff. So we have Seussical Junior, which is through our partnership with the Penguin Project. An All Abilities production, and that debuts in August. We have our Shrek Junior theater camp, which is in July and debuts at the end of July or mid-July. And then I'm going backwards, I guess. Penguin Project, Shrek Junior. Oh, but then in the fall we will have Winnie the Pooh, which is for ages 6 to 11. And Shrek Jr. is for ages... Winnie the Pooh is for ages 6 to 10. Shrek Jr. is for ages 11 to 14. And we also have a playwriting workshop coming up on May 6th. So that's like before the summer. That kind of wraps up our like classes and workshops for this season. And we'll be announcing our upcoming season of like classes and workshops and all that good stuff in the summer.
All right.
Well.
And, a couple of things that we need to really highlight. First of all, Penguin Project.
Yes.
We went to that last year, and it was so heartwarming.
Mm-hmm. It's an incredible program, and these kids are incredible. They're inspiring because they have so much passion for this, and I think a lot of the time, particularly for someone like me who like does it for work, you can like forget about that piece of passion or like what I call the joy of musical theater or the joy of theater. And so they help us remember that. And Alex, our education coordinator, says it's her favorite thing that she's ever worked on. It like changed her life because of her direct like contact with them. So yeah, I mean, just working with the artists and the mentors alike, they are so inspiring in that way. And then the result of it is just, that's how I would describe it, an inspired piece, because I think you can, as you witness, like you just see their passion for performance shine through, and they're really funny. And like since we've had some classes this last season, I actually have gotten to teach and work with some of them that were in the production, and so I've gotten to know them better, and I'm like, you are a riot. Like, you crack me up, you're good. And so they're just bringing so much joy to the Premier Playhouse, and we hope to keep growing this program.
And do you think that we'll be seeing some of those in the All Abilities then making their way onto the main stage?
I would say so. That's a goal. That's a part
wonderful.
of our like accessibility goals, is that in having this program, we're giving people tools to understand how a theatrical process works, because we do, I will say this, we're community based, but we do have a professional structure. We really surprise people when they come in and understand like all the steps that go into it, and that we have that mapped out. And so we actually apply those tools to this program for these kids, which is amazing. And then, yeah, that's in hopes of, as they continue to get older and become vets of performance, they can move into main stage performing. And that's the same for our education programming as a whole. We have like Aviana Steen, who was Mary Poppins and Mary Poppins Jr. She's been in the ensemble of Young Frankenstein and Cinderella this season. She was Martha Cratchit in A Christmas Carol. So a lot of the times the youth are like learning in our program and then get to reap the benefits of that in the main stage shows.
The other project is one that you pretty well brought to the town, and that is the Premieres. And you will notice there is a poster for the first one.
I know,
here
I was
in the
so happy
studio.
to see that. That brought me joy.
What an absolute, well, it brought me joy too. Just what an absolute great time to have been involved in that. And for those that missed it, let's not so much recap, but, give it some forethought since you're going to do it again.
Yeah.
What the project all entails.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. So we actually have open play submissions for the Premieres for our next year already, and they're open through June 9th. And so that playwriting workshop we're offering on May 6th works in tandem with that deadline to kind of give people a check-in or an understanding of like what we'd be looking for. It's taught by Kevin Cole from USF, who is also on our board of directors. He's an amazing guy, has a lot of insight to offer. And so we're kind of trying to, in steps each year, give people more guidance and offering of knowledge for the program. But yeah, so we're looking for half-length plays, about 45 minutes to 60 minutes, or a healthy 75 minutes. Really depends on the piece. Plays or plays with music, but not musicals at this time because we really like it to be focused on plays specifically. That may change in the future, but at this time, that's what we're focusing on. And what else can I tell you? Writers 18 and up within a 100-mile radius of Sioux Falls. So we're focused on local, semi-developed writers. I've been doing a lot of outreach at universities and speaking to different students there because we like people in that age range because they are currently working on that, that skill, so it's kind of very accessible to them, but then we're open to whoever else, what I mean? Whoever else has a story to tell. So we're going to continue to hone in on which audiences we're honing in on each year too, but this year it's been the college age range. Anyway, so yeah, we'll accept submissions, and then last year we did it in July, I believe. Yes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this year we'll be doing it, I believe, in August. Which is our Festival of New Plays readings. And so at that point, the submissions for the Premieres will have been reviewed in a blind submission process. And through that process, we will identify our semifinalists, which we haven't confirmed or identified the number of semifinalists for this year. That will be to be announced.
One of the things that I was really intrigued by was that when it came to the reading of the new plays, is there was you could only have one or two rehearsals beforehand, and it was strictly the reading when you went in there. No props. You didn't stand up and walk around, and no blocking or anything like that. And so then you narrow it down to the final two from that. And the great judges that were on that panel, no doubt about it.
And we'll continue with that. Judges typically from the collegiate theater arena.
And it was just phenomenal to watch and then get the feedback for as well. And, the different thoughts that, those judges that also, for the most part, are directors, would say, what if this took place? What if you moved? What if you combined? And, just a phenomenal thing. And so thank you for bringing that.
Yeah.
And I thought that was another one of those ways that the outreach, maybe there were some people that normally wouldn't be trying out for something at Premier Playhouse.
Exactly. We had a great audition turnout. So it helped us find a new wing of community of people that we haven't necessarily engaged with, which was really, really cool. And also I want to comment on what you said about the adjudicators giving that really great feedback, because we kind of, since I inherited the program and kind of was doing my learning it all as I went, there was a lot of things to figure out, but what I will say is we tried to create that continuity. So when they got that feedback, I actually was following up with the writers about what changes they were making based on that. And when we had directors attached and they were in rehearsals, they were figuring out all of that. And we were a part of a critical response process, so the cast got to respond to what they thought the play meant and all of those fun new play development things. So we really tried to make it a program for the people that end up the 2 finalist plays. It's just really an incredible program.
Oh, no doubt about that. Fun times as well, being involved in that. And what's been the feedback from the community over that?
The community seemed to love it. I mean, we sold out 2 of our 4 performances, and the other 2 were well attended. And people were kind of obsessed. I don't know. They were just like, I think they didn't know what to expect. And then, or that's what I heard a lot. People were like, I didn't know what to expect, but that was the coolest thing ever. And I think they also liked how different this year's plays were, and were really impressed with like the caliber of what they were.
True.
But that's why they were chosen. So it was just like, we knew what like how special it was, but then audiences got to see how special it was. And yeah, I would say most people were really responsive to it, and we want it to be something that grows. And actually, this coming year, we're moving it to the Orpheum. So our entire main stage season will be at the Orpheum. We loved being at the Belvis, but this allows us to fill more seats if it becomes such a big hit. So we're trying to make it really a local artist collaboration, like festival feeling. And because of that, we think we can do more with that at the Orpheum.
All right. But in the meantime, there's going to be a class for playwriting on the 6th of May. And June, what for the final submission?
June 9th.
9th. Okay. So somebody and I have to get going here. All right.
That.
Yeah. So what have you been learning in your tenure now here at the Premier Playhouse? What has driven you more? I mean, because you had a hell of a resume coming in. And so what gives you that passion to keep, topping the charts with things?
Wow, that's a great question. I think what I've been actually kind of thinking about and speaking on lately is that when you're producing, there are always surprises. Each time you do it, you learn something new inevitably. And most of the time you can kind of, well, I guess all jobs have like surprises, right? But you can kind of figure out the flow, and there's like, or it's not your problem, right? With the producer, it's always your problem. So somebody can come to you with anything. But I kind of love that. I love that because I like that the work has a challenge in that way. There's no way to get stagnant. So I can really learn the ins and outs of my job, but that doesn't mean that every day is going to be easy. But I kind of like that challenge, I guess, is what I'm saying. It's fun to thrive on helping people problem solve. And sometimes it can be really, really exhausting. But if you get that reset, then you're ready to do it again. I just love supporting artists, putting the right people together in the room and all that good stuff. So I feel like what I've learned a lot about, though, is doing it in this environment. You know what I mean? So like coming into a role and an organization with a lot of history and like assimilating to what came before, but also like finding my new way of doing it. So it's been a really fun learning season in that way.
All right. The standard questions at the end, when you're not involved in arts and entertainment, what do you enjoy being entertained by?
I think my most recent response to that is I'm going to surprise people watching basketball. But that's
like the NCAA tourney, or
like college basketball with my boyfriend because he makes me watch it. So it's like kind of a passive role, but like I'm becoming more I like understand it more, so that's kind of fun. And then also Nintendo Switch, like Mario Party, Mario Kart, Smash Bros, all that good stuff. Because I think I told you the last time I was on, I'm trying to find hobbies,
right. Yep.
And so those are my like current hobbies.
All right. Well, it's always a great pleasure having you here. Thank you so much, Oliver.
Thank you, Dave.
And we'll be back with more of the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Helping women feel empowered and confident is what Posh Boutique at the Bridges at 57th does, while supplying high-quality clothing that fits your lifestyle, personality, and price point. Whether you want comfy and cozy, casual attire, or something for a special occasion, Posh provides quality, selection, and value. They carry sizes extra small to 3X and have something appropriate for any age. Feel empowered and get confident. Posh Boutique at the Bridges at 57th.
Check out the new ceramic studio in Sioux Falls, conveniently located off Kiwanis Avenue on 5th Street. TJS Ceramics. Bisque, studio time, or finished custom items are available. Visit TJS Ceramics Studio in Sioux Falls today.
It's another Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment conversation on the Dave Holly Hour.
Welcome back, everybody. So thankful that you too are just like me and you love to hear great conversations and talk about Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment. And you also love it when we get new guests on the show. And man, I think we're over 250 separate guests now. And it just keeps going. And we keep having fun. We keep learning about people. And today, joining us is local comedian Reid Baxter. How are you, Reid?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Glad to hear that. I'm doing well also. Good. Thank you. And now you had at one time turned me down to be on the podcast.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Because
scheduling conflicts.
Well, it wasn't even so much scheduling conflicts. It was more like, I'm just not feeling it right now. And I see that with comedians often, that there are times where it's just not, you're doubting yourself and so forth, but you just competed in Last Comic Standing this past weekend, and you had a great set. You did not get in the top 3, but you had a great set. You had great crowd reaction, and it pumped you up.
Oh, yeah.
What was the difference in it?
I don't know. I get to a point to where I'm very. Everybody has their own worst critic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I am just that. So like when I have a bad show or a small crowd where nothing happens, no reaction, then I get super discouraged. And then I kind of go on a little hiatus for a little bit. And it makes me second guess a lot of the jokes or, my choice of doing stand up, but then you have shows like you do on Friday and stuff like that with a great turnout and a big crowd, and then something just comes back full circle and you're like, oh, all right, I can do this. So I think it's just important to keep that in mind, like just because you have one or two bad shows within a month or whatever, just keep going because it's going to happen no matter what.
Well, and you know that everybody's had a bad show. Everybody has had a situation where they bombed. Yep. You watch Seinfeld, any of those guys, when they're getting interviewed, and they will tell you about those times.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to believe.
Yep.
But by the same token, like we mentioned, everybody is their own worst critic.
Yep.
So who is your sounding board then for when you start writing a joke and you want to know if it's something that's going to get into your set?
If it's good enough to keep in there? Well, my wife for one, but she doesn't always appreciate it. She's got to live with me all the time. No, I'll do the open mics and stuff like that around the area, whether it be out of Bosses or Lucky's when I can. But yeah, that's the real test, is to try out the jokes at the mics, really, and just to get out there and just try it. And if it doesn't work, then either you work on it or write it off and come up with something else. But
what made you want to become a comedian?
Oh my God, this is going to be such a poser answer. So 2005, name dropping. So I was heavy into Dane Cook, which at that time a lot of people were,
right?
Because he was blowing up. And so I just got inspired. I was like, you know what? I'm going to write some stuff. I'm going to try this. And I found a open mic at Washington Pavilion that I think it was Lincoln High School or something like that put on.
Really?
So it was like a mixture of like music, poetry, whatever you want to bring. So yeah, I tried it then and just kind of got the itch for it at that point in time. Yeah, even though the first time, like what I said before, you have to keep in mind just to keep going. Being as it was my first time, it wasn't very good. So I was like, you know what? I tried it. I'm going to do it again. We'll try to improve what I have here and go from there. So,
all right. So the first time that you felt it when you were on stage,
it's weird. So when for the first time, like you try it, I think everybody's a little different, but for me, yeah, when I first tried it, it just got right under the skin, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna do this for a while. Yeah, ever since 2005, I've been kind of on and off on it, but it's a lot of fun. It's a good time.
Were you a joke teller in school, or in your early ages? Because most of us, we have a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Almost everybody has a favorite joke that they like to tell. And then there's people that love telling jokes and jokes and jokes and jokes, and they don't realize that stand-up is such a completely different bird.
Yeah. The school, no, I didn't really tell jokes, but I was that person that was messing around in class or something like that, or always being told to pay attention or something, or stop distracting the person next to you. And then PTA comes, like conferences come up, and then they tell my parents, like, are you being distracting to other kids? Like, no, they're talking to me, I swear. So yeah.
One of the few times my mother defended me with the teacher was at parent-teacher conferences.
Yeah.
Because, well, I had a tendency to mimic a lot of people, including a teacher. And when he told her that I had been imitating him, she said, well, that might be kind of my fault.
So your mom took part in the imitation process.
Yes, she did.
Oh, no. Nobody blame but Mom.
Yeah, okay. So were you married at the point when you decided to do comedy?
No, I was still in high school.
Okay.
So yeah, this is 2005. That was the same year I graduated. We got married. I got married to my beautiful wife, of course, in 2018.
Don't miss this one. Yeah.
18? It was?
Okay.
No, it wasn't 2018.
You got married.
2021. It was like during. It was so we were planning
pre-COVID or COVID?
Yeah, it was like we were planning during, as it was kind of starting to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was, and we were both working from home too, so trying not to drive each other crazy while doing the wedding planning. But she did most of it, and she was just a trooper throughout the whole thing.
But when you got to the point of engagement and so forth, and actually knowing that this was a person that you wanted to spend the rest of your life with, did she know that you wanted to be a comedian?
Oh yeah.
And what was her reaction?
She was totally fine with it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
you're lucky.
I think she enjoys that I have something that I like to go out and do.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy it. That makes me happy. Just like her, she's got her things that she likes to enjoy to do. It makes her happy too, and that's important, just to kind of have that for yourself, something to go out and make you happy and just pursue. She knows that this is what I like to do, and she doesn't prevent me really from doing any of it. She's actually super supportive. Like I said, there will be times where I try to shoot a joke at her, and then I'll get the eye roll or something like that. But that's
that one's not going in. Right?
That's part of marriage, I think, is what it is.
So, what is your process when it comes to actually making, to sitting down, writing so that it's a bit, not a joke?
I don't really have a specific process. If something just crawls up into my brain, I'll either, if I have something handy to write down, or I'll have my phone usually and open up the notepad in there, and I'll jot down a sentence or some main keywords from that thought, and then I'll just kind of go from there and build off of it. So whether I'm just like out and about, just hearing stuff, or if I'm just sitting at home on my butt, which the majority of that time is the joke writing time. yeah, no specific system or anything. I'm trying to get better at listening, I guess I should say. Other people stand up and like podcasts and stuff like that. I am a terrible person at listening to, because, for example, like stand up and stuff like that. Like watching other people do stand up is a great way to develop and, take notes or whatever and say, oh yeah, that's funny. Maybe I have an idea like that I can work off of, or without completely stealing material, of course. But I am terrible at that because I get super jealous. It's like, and the way some of the comedians like deliver their material and make the crowd work is just amazing to me. And when I get into the mindset of like, that's what I want to do, but then when you try that and it just doesn't work out, then that's when the more discouraging portion comes up again, and the jealousy. But that's one thing I'm trying to get better at, is not take things too hard, so like that, and just work from it.
Right.
Yep.
All right. I think you may be the first one that's ever said he's been jealous.
Of even
other
like
performers.
Even the locals around here. Oh my gosh, like they amazing. I'll sit there and watch one of them, and then they'll say a bit. I'm like, man, what did I think of that? It's just so simple. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's pretty much anybody that comes with great joke that just makes people laugh. There's something inside of me that's just like, oh, you should have done that. But yeah, learn from it and get better.
So who do you respect that is a local comic?
Oh, there's so many of them. Oh, you got Nate Holtz, Zach Dresch, and there's a lot that have gotten way better since they've started. Like Jerry Irby and Chris Fryer and Lita Wendell's and Preston Williams.
Oh yeah.
God, I'm forgetting another one.
Well, there is quite a few.
Yeah,
Skylar Bulks.
Skylar, of course, that gigantic man.
Yeah.
Ian. Pretty much like a lot of the guys that we really see at the mics. I do kind of idolize and I do get super jealous of those guys too, because they like their material is good and it's gotten so much better over the years, and they've grown a lot. So it's awesome to see.
How do you feel you've grown as a comedian?
I don't really know. I of course, like, since I've started, like, gotten way better, because it just comes with time over the years. The more you get out there and the more you do it, and repetition and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't like ranking myself. I don't like putting myself into a position. I like to go out there and just do it. And as long as everybody has fun and laughs and, maybe says like, good job after the show, it's something like that. That's all I really need.
Being your own worst critic, as we all are, and we've talked about this a couple times already, when you have finished a set, do you immediately go into critique mode?
Oh, absolutely. Like after Friday's set that we did at the district for that, as soon as I got off stage, like I kind of just got to myself, like in a room, like in a position where I'm just like kind of quiet, and I'm like, all right, what did I forget? What's the one thing that I forgot to say? And then I pull up my phone, I'm like listening, because I record, so I'm listening to it. I'm like, what? But yeah, like immediately right after I'm off, I'm like, oh, what did I forget to say? And then you're reviewing and like, but that's always gonna happen too, I think, especially with me. Like, there's always something that I think I'm gonna forget, even when I don't. Like, you just always have that mindset after a show. I do anyway.
You record every time?
Not every time. A lot of like especially when I'm trying new stuff,
right? I
will. That way I can kind of hear it, and then I like to hear things better than I like to read them. So I actually have to hear it, and then that way I can kind of build off of it a little bit better. So yeah, those mics I'll record from time to time. The bigger shows I will. Depends. But But yeah, the mics for sure.
All right, so you build off of that.
Mm-hmm.
Are there times where you rewrite the joke completely?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I have my local bits like the zoo and the Corn Palace and stuff. I can't count how many times that I've revised those, or I like not even revised. Like sometimes when I'm on stage, different times I'll tell it a different way. Yeah, so there's been a lot actually, and then there's been some where I used to tell that where I thought were really good, but then you just discard them completely because you got to move on from them. Yeah, there's been a lot.
Is there one bit that you have in every show that's like your go-to bit?
I have a few of them. My intro that I like to do, thank for everybody coming out. Who's drinking? I'm drinking. I like a cocktail, but I don't know how to make them. Yeah, that one's a good one because that's,
right.
I don't know why. It's because like I said during the joke, I'm like, how people say when you're nervous, picture them in the underwear. Nope, I flip it. I want you to see me. And I don't know.
Jealousy and flipping the old everybody naked part.
Like to me, that I don't know that just kind of like sets the level of kind of how I'm gonna maybe be throughout the rest of the show. So yeah, I got that one, and then I got the "These Are My Pants" bit. Those are the two I think are my favorite that work really well.
What are you working on now? What's a joke that we might catch you trying for the first time at an open mic?
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's a tough one. I don't really. I find myself right now going back to a lot of my original stuff that I used to tell and revamping that. There's a couple of like current event ones I have added in there, like the Wisconsin school one with like Miley Cyrus and Dolly Parton. So like I've been trying to get better at like current event stuff without getting too, whether it be political or controversial or stuff like that. I don't like to do political or controversial stuff too much. But if there's ever a point in my show where I say something, like if someone come up to me after the show and let me know, I'm totally fine with that. Then we can have a conversation about it. I don't know. I just do stupid comedy. I don't know how to describe myself.
Well, the one feature to if you do social commentary, and you're doing the politics things along that line. Yeah. Then remember, you got to be funny.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely. If you're gonna do those topics, you have to.
You can't just go out there and give your lecture.
Nope.
That's not going to fly.
Nope.
You have to have humor to it.
Yep. And I think that's what a lot of people like when they say like, yeah, that'd be easy. I can go up and do that. But then they would do it and tell out a full story. And then they're like, there's no punchline there or anything like that at all. So yeah, if you're doing that kind of stuff, you got to be ready for the punchline on those.
Speaking of punchlines, the old standard for a joke is setup, punch.
Yep.
How does that differ when you've got to make it a bit?
Oh. I feel like we got to ask a professional comedian on that one.
I'm asking a professional comedian. You've been paid. So it was $10, but
I don't really know. To me, like the setup punchline is more like your common jokes, like guy walks into a bar, blah 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 blah. For me, I think a lot of my stuff is more bits than anything. I think when I don't know, I consider more of my stuff bits. So like I don't do like the setup punchline. Like there'll be some funny, inserts in there where I'll say something funny or whatever. But yeah, I think I'm more of of a bit person than I am the setup person like that. So I really don't know. It's like, sorry to get to the short answer of a long-winded trying to explain.
You know, the one thing that I really admire with a good comedian is the callbacks.
That's one thing I'm trying to get better at, and I do have one, which is the "not my pants" joke.
Mm-hmm.
That's my keeper, because it's a good callback, and that's what I really end on, because it involves my wife. So yeah, I'm trying to do more callback material, because those are the ones I usually hit pretty good. And my wife has been a big inspiration on that kind of stuff.
So what's the next thing you have coming up now? Where are you going to be?
I'm going to be at home on my couch waiting for
for people to call.
I have nothing. So yeah, right now me and my wife are, have a little bit of a busy time.
Well, yes, and you're going to be a father.
I am.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. Come July 11th, supposedly, is when the arrival of our little one. But
do you know the gender?
I do.
Are you telling the gender?
It is a boy.
It's a boy.
It is a boy.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we're not keeping anything secret. We're just like, yep, here it is. Like, I wanted to wait a little bit, but I wanted to wait to be surprised, but she didn't want to. So I'm like, all right, we'll just find out. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care either way. Boy and girl, doesn't matter. But yeah, boy. We are naming him Lennox.
Okay.
Yeah. Not a name.
Did you live there?
No, we didn't. It was this. We did. She thought of it, and we didn't even think of the town. I think she just heard the name somewhere, and she was like, "You know what? I never hear anybody call that at all."
That's true.
And it works on two levels, whether male or female.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, so I'll be calling him Lenny, probably a lot for short.
Oh,
I love that.
Yeah, and then you can think of Lenny Bruce, the great comic.
Yep.
Oh my.
And then middle name. We're going for her grandpa, which was named Leroy. So he's going to be little Lennox Leroy Baxter. Little Lenny Lee B.
Okay, so he's going to be LL Baxter instead of LL Bean.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Will your humor come through as a parent?
I think it's going to have to.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
just as much for you to be able to go through it?
Yeah, I say that now, like, when the kid's crying, I'll just, I'll be a clown. I'll enter, whatever. I'll try to just make them happy as I can. I say that now, but now I know, like, when it comes time, I'm just gonna have my eyes half shut, just trying to survive. Yeah, but I think so. And the way I am now, with like telling jokes to my wife and stuff like that, she's gonna go insane. Because I guarantee that kid is going to be telling so many jokes, especially dad jokes too. Right. Yep. Because I have a
slew of them.
I got a book I got for Christmas from her dad. So I can't wait to read that to him. That's going to be fun. And he's just going to be telling jokes all over the house, I think, driving mom crazy while I'm laughing.
All right. So in the meantime, when you're not performing, what do you like to go out and be entertained by?
Go out and be entertained by?
Yes, I'm saving the hobby question after that, since I see plenty of pictures about that one.
I like to. We do a lot of things. Whether a lot of the time, me and my wife will just go out to, kind of at that age where we don't really like going out as much, to the bar and stuff like that. So we don't really do a lot of that. So you could usually we're just hanging around friends' house or something like that. If we do go out, it's this little social get together. Otherwise, yeah, if there's like live music or something going on, or live comedy or anything, we'll watch it. I'm not really picky on it. As long as it's entertaining and everybody's having a good time, we're having fun. Why not?
All right.
Yep.
Final question then. Any other hobbies?
Yeah.
Go deep.
That's what she said.
I knew there had to be one for that.
Is there a limit? What did it say?
No, it's a podcast.
Oh.
The FCC does not rule.
I could be
us.
swearing this whole time, David, and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, but I do like to keep it as family as possible. But trust me, that's not the worst thing that's been said on this.
Son of a bee sting.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I almost got you.
Yeah.
You thought I was going to.
I was.
No, I won't. We'll keep it clean. We never know who's listening. Talent agents or something like that. Whatever.
They know about this shit?
I don't even know what were we talking about?
Hobbies.
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 I do a variety of things. I don't know, like video games.
Mm-hmm.
I am a not as heavy as a lot of people, but I'm kind of a toy collector in a sense, whether it be like nostalgia stuff or recent stuff that reminds me of my childhood. What I like to do is I'll like craft little stands or dioramas or whatever for that kind of stuff. So a lot of trips to Hobby Lobby.
Ever, get into Legos or anything?
Oh, absolutely. I could get stupid on a Lego set for hours, but they're so expensive. Like I can't. Like there's a Nintendo one that I want. It's like $300. Like I can't justify $300, especially when I got a kid on the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll wait and just buy that stuff when he's bored, and then we could both do it.
Yeah.
It gives me a little bit more justification of getting that stuff.
And then at that point, when you step on one of those little things, you
oh
blame
my
it on
God,
the kid.
man. Yeah, exactly. Pick up your Legos. But I can't get mad at him for that, though, because that's how I was when I was a kid. I would sit there and cry. I'd be like, somebody help me pick these up. There's so many. And then my mom would step on them. And then I would never see him again.
Ooh. And that was the real house.
No, there's like a lot of stuff right now that I wish I could buy, but I can't because I can't justify it right now. So I'll wait till he's born a little bit older, and then we can start buying that stuff. And
wait till he's out of college.
Yep, I got a little bit of a better reason.
All right, Reid Baxter, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for taking some time to be on the Dave Holly Hour. And best wishes in your comedy and in parenthood, too.
I will say, if I could do a plug, I'm on the YouTubes.
Yes.
Tiki Talks, all that stuff.
Yeah,
you're just type in my name.
Out on the social.
I am. I'm out there. I'm not sure why, but I'm there.
All right. Appreciate it, my friend. And we'll be back to wrap up the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Comedy magician and hypnotist Jesse Moffat's right. He can't play the piano, but he can sure entertain crowds with his amazing magic and clever quips. His shows always make the participants the stars, especially when they've fallen asleep on stage. They've been hypnotized. Are you the party planner in your group? Then you owe it to your group to make the event magical, even if it puts you to sleep. Here's how.
For booking information, go to Jesse Moffitt Entertainment on Facebook. That's JESSEMOFFITT. Or call 605-929-0964.
Ladies, when it's time to give your nails some love, get that extra special treatment from Quality Nails on South Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Manicures and pedicures that look great and make you feel fantastic. Zaya and Tony provide professional care for your hands and feet, whether you just want the basics or an extra special look with added flair. Oh, and guys, it's okay to treat yourself too. Quality Nails. Call for an appointment. 605-334-1463.
From the Dipsy Doodle Studios at the world headquarters of Big D Entertainment, a 40-square-foot home studio in the middle of America, it's Dave Holly.
Thanks again to my great guest, Oliver Mays, and as well, Mr. Reid Baxter. And of course, thank you for listening, downloading, sharing, and following on social media, and of course, your overall support of this show. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know what? If you haven't done so far, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, which automatically gets you entered for Pizza with a Podcaster. Also, if you want to hear all 176 episodes, I don't suggest binge listening, but over time you can. Go online, DaveHollyHour.com. As the Sioux Falls Arts Council says, together we art. As Arts South Dakota says, home is where the art is. As I say, put some art in your heart. Remember, I'm Dave Holly, and for me, every day is a holiday.
The Dave Holly Hour has been brought to you by TJS Ceramics, Posh Boutique, The Sky in Tea, Excel Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Jesse Moffitt Entertainment, and Sonny's Pizzeria. If you would like to contribute to the continued success of this podcast, simply buy Dave a cup of coffee. Go to davehollyhour.com and look for a coffee cup icon in the lower left. The Dave Holly Hour is produced in the Dipsy Doodle Studios by Big D Entertainment.
Thanks for listening.